Emily was fair lady bride, she loved her diver boy, who sailed over the ocean to gather up some gold. 7 long years returning his money for to show. He'd been sailing over the main, down in the lowland road. My father runs a big hotel down by the riverside. You go there, go for to stay, and I shall be your bride. Meet me early morning, don't let my parents know. You've been the diver boy down in the lowland road. Henry taking a drink that night before he went to bed, not thinking of the danger that crowned over his head. Edward said to his father, let's take his money, sure, and send his body sinking fast down in the lowland road. Emily went to bed that night, she dreamt an awful dream. She dreamt she saw her true love's blood go flowing down the stream. Waking early morning to parents she did say, where could be that stranger boy who came here for to stay? Of my then, oh brother, you have murdered the one that I love best. The trees on yonder mountain are bending to and fro to remind me of my diver boy down in the
Up-and-coming Artist of the Year at this year's Hands Up for Trad Music Awards held in Fort William, and we have an exclusive recording from those awards later on in the show. You'll listen to the Garden Sessions, gardensessions.co.uk. Contact us at podcast@gardensessions.co.uk. The title and name of the person who sang that is Maeve MacKinnon, the diver boy. I see Angle's looking at me because I forgot to say it. Maeve MacKinnon, the diver boy. Yes, we're available on Radio Britfolk, radiobritfolk.co.uk, and 98.8 FM in the Edinburgh area, Leith FM, where Leith lives. I'm Jack Foster, and joining me, as ever, are the Siegfried and Roy of the Scottish folk scene. Talking, of course, of Frank Burkitt and Dave the Angles Gimble.
We are both magicians in our own
Did you
way.
Lock the tiger well away in the cage?
I did. It doesn't like Jack.
I only just discovered who these guys were about 2 minutes ago.
To Jack, they were just names. Names.
Anyway, Frank, what's coming up in the show?
Well, we've got the usuals. The Folkie News will be coming up on the show.
I'm looking forward to that.
Yes, you should. The official download chart and letters bag. We've got quite a few letters this week.
We have indeed.
We do.
Some good ones. There's actually a bit of a hot debate going on in a couple of areas.
There
in the
is.
forum.
It's got quite heated.
It has, which is what I like to see.
And Dave's angle as well. Dave, have you got a hint?
I do. The first hint
this week. There's nothing written down here.
That's because they're hints, Jack. If you knew them, then you'd have longer to work it out. I've been saying this for the entire time.
Okay, Dave.
Keep up the illusion.
First hint is that it involves a woman spurned.
Okay. Well, that's fairly straightforward.
And as I said before, we have an exclusive recording from the Trad Music Awards,
which was in the Nevis Centre in Fort William. And I would like to point out that I used to rehearse in the Nevis Centre in Fort William with the Highland Regional Youth Orchestra.
Thanks for that, Frank.
No problem.
That's good, in a lovely kind of way. So what's next?
Tune.
Dave, tell us.
Next tune is Karine Polwart, The Dowie Dens of Yarrow.
And this features on
the new album coming out at some point in December.
December the 15th.
December the 15th, Dave, I think you'll find.
It's called The Fairest Floo'er. And this is The Dowie Dens of Yarrow.
There was a lady in the north, you scarce would find her marrow. She was courted by 9 gentlemen and a ploughboy lad for Yarrow. Well, 9 sat drinking at the wine, as oft they done afore, and they made a vow among themselves to fight for her on Yarrow. And so he's come out yon high, high hill, and down by the dancing arrow, and there he spied 9 armed men come to fight with him on Yarrow. He says there's 9 o' you and but 1 o' me. It's an unequal marrow, but I'll fight ye on new one by one on the Dowie downs o' Yarrow. So it's 3 he slew and 3 withdrew, and 3 he wounded sadly, till our brother he came in beyond, and he wounded him most foully. Gie him, you false young man, and bring your sister sorrow, for our ain true love lies pale and wan on the Dowie downs o' Yarrow. Oh, mother, I hae dreamed a dream, a dream o' dole and sorrow. I dreamed I was pulling the heathery bells on the Dowie downs o' Yarrow. Oh, daughter dear, I ken your dream, and I doubt it will bring sorrow, for your ain true love lies pale and wan on the Dowie downs o' Yarrow. And so she's run out yon high, high hill, and down by the dancing arrow, and it's there she spied her dear lover John, lying pale and dead on Yarrow. And so she's washed his face, and she's combed his hair, as oft she'd done afore, and she's wrapped it round her middle sae small, and she's carried him home to Yarrow. Oh, hold your tongue, my daughter dear, what need for all this sorrow? I'll wed you to a far better man than the one who's slain on Yarrow. Oh, feather ye hae 7 sons, and ye may wed them all the morrow, the fairest flower among them all was the Plew boy lad fae Yarrow. Oh, mother, mother, mak my bed, and mak it soft and narrow, for my love died for me this day, and I'll die for him tomorrow.
It's Karine Polwart, the Dowie Dens of Yarrow, from the up-and-coming album The Fairest Floo'er. It's going to be a good album.
I can't wait for that.
You can just feel it.
Mm-hmm.
Pounding version of a classic song. Anyway, yeah. What's coming up in the show, Dave?
We've got usual things. We've got Folkie News coming very, very soon. We've got a letters bag, the first for a long while, but it's a good one. There's a lot of heated debate, as Frank said earlier.
It's an exciting letters bag.
Straight after Folkie News, we'll have the download chart.
Any hints?
Any hints on the chart? Well, we've got a few movers. We've got 2 re-entries, 1 climber, 2 new entries, and 1 non-mover. But will it be the top spot?
Will it be? Will Sophie Schure maintain the top spot?
Be a cracking run if she's there.
Indeed.
Be her 5th time.
5 times in a row she does.
It's a good
Can
effort.
you believe it?
Great effort.
Yes, you listen to the Garden Sessions, gardensessions.co.uk. Contact us at podcast@gardensessions.co.uk. And yes, Frank.
It's news. It's folk.
What is it, Frank?
It's the Folkie News. And the Folkie News brought to you this week, as ever, in association with Paddy Bort Wee Folk Club.
Well, every Sunday night at the Oak, we've got the Wee Folk Club at 8:30. An intimate venue, 30 seats, acoustic. It's a great night out. We've got fantastic musicians and singers. Every Sunday night, do come along.
And this week, Sunday the 9th of December, at the Wee Folk Club, it's Angie Wright, singer-songwriter based in Blairgowrie. More info at royal-oak-folk.com. Top story. The winners of the 2007 Scots Trad Music Awards were announced at a glittering awards ceremony at the Nevis Centre in Fort William this weekend, as we've covered. Hosted by Mary Ann Kennedy and Stuart Castles, the awards highlight the Scotland's rich traditional music in all its forms. Over the last 2 months, members of the public have been voting in a range of different categories. Julie Fowlis picked up 2 awards, Album of the Year and Gaelic Singer of the Year. Mainstay of the scene Phil Cunningham took Composer of the Year. Instrumentalist of the Year went to Katrina Mackay, whilst Maeve McKinnon, as you heard at the beginning of this show, scooped the prestigious Up-and-Coming Artist of the Year. Event of the Year was reeled in by the Royal National Mod, also held in Fort William this year, and the Old Blind Dogs were very much the Scottish folk band of the year. Well, there you are. Sounds like a very, very good award ceremony.
It does.
And in the Nevis Centre.
Yes, we heard about that.
Mm-hmm.
Continue.
Anyway, the second story, Karine Polwart's 3rd solo album, The Fairest Floo'er, is due for release on December the 15th. A slight departure from the style of her last 2 albums, in that this will be mainly traditional material, or at least in a much more traditional vein. Recorded with partner Matty Folds in the spare room of her Scottish porter's home. There must be some spare room. Must have some kit in it, like, you know. I want to spend a night at Polwart's house. I think.
Get that piano in there that we heard before.
I want to go for dinner over a weekend. I think would be nice. If you're listening, Karine, that would be more than welcome. Sorry, on. moving on. Sorry, I'm not trying to hit on Karine Polwart in the middle of the news.
No, you're just
here.
extending your social plans during the middle of a podcast.
Partner Matty Folds.
Yeah, sorry, Matty. Sorry. Anyway, in the spare room of their boarder's home, the album more than hints at its setting. Local ballad tradition supplies the plaintive. An elegant opening track, the Dowie Dens of Yarrow, which you also heard shortly before this news. Her favourite of all Scots traditional songs, apparently. Whilst dense, florid imagery infuses the poignant Burks of Invermay and is echoed in the lyrical Robert Burns song, The Lee Rig. For many, it might seem as though Karine
would have been acceptable.
Yeah. For many, it might seem as though Karine Polwart has disappeared from the scene in 2007. But quite the contrary, listeners. In fact, it has been a very productive year for Polwart, with the birth of her first child and the recording of not 1, but 2 albums of worth material. 2 albums smooth. Yeah, okay. Anyway, yes. Bye-bye. Cheers. Good. That was the news. Jingle me.
Well, that went very well.
Lovely.
And of course, keep up to date with all the Folkie news at gardensessions.co.uk/news. So there you are.
That was the Folkie news.
It's quite colourful news this week, I thought.
Enjoyed the wee singing as well at the beginning. That was nice.
That was. I thought I'd spice it up a notch.
Wonderfully lyrical.
Hopefully more of that in the shows to come.
I'm
Dave,
not-
you're still looking for a Christmas angle, aren't you?
I am still looking for a Christmas angle.
Who do people contact?
If you want to write in about Christmas angles or any other such stuff, podcast@gardensessions.co.uk, or for Christmas angles, you can send them directly into me, angles@gardensessions.co.uk.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Dave, tell us what we've all been waiting to hear.
The official Garden Sessions download chart. The official Garden Sessions download chart.
This is the official Garden Sessions download chart based on free downloads from gardensessions.co.uk. At 10, it's a re-entry for Andy Chung with The Penny Falls.
He enters again.
He does
Back.
indeed. At 9, it's down 3 for Alan Hunter with Maggie Bryn.
Oh, we're losing him.
At 8, it's another re-entry for Andy Chung with The Wee Room.
It's down in the wee room, underneath the stair. Everybody's happy, everybody's there, and we're all making merry, each in his chair. Down in the wee room, underneath the stair.
At 7, it's
Where
down
was
2.
that, Angus?
Oh,
The
yeah.
wee room
It was in
underneath the
wee
stair. Jack. Weren't you listening? At 7, it's down 2 for Nick Keir with American Accent. At 6, it's a new entry for the Lucy Pringle Trio, first time in the chart for them with the King's Shilling. At
Good to
5,
see.
it's down 1 for Sophie Tertiuda with
she's
Peggy
there.
Gordon.
Peggy Gordon.
I put my back up against an oak tree. I thought it was a trusty tree, but first it bent and then was broken, and that is how my love served me.
At 4, it's a new entry for the Lucy Pringle Trio with Neath the
Another.
Gloomin' Starratine. That's
Good lord.
2
Two
for
new
a first time in the
entries for
chart.
Pringle.
At 3, it's down 1 again for Alan Hunter. Not going so well for Alan
So
with
he's-
the long
he's
grey
slowly
line.
slipping
He's
away from the
slowly
number one
slipping
slot.
into mere obscurity as far as the download chart's concerned. Anyway, at 2, it's up 1 for Sinead Connolly with Eileen Oak.
Familiar.
Nothing bad to say this week, Dave? No?
Yeah, Dave, that was awfully...
It's awfully kind, straightforward.
Yep, well, there you go. And at
That
1,
can only mean one
Good
thing.
lord.
At 1.
Dave has finally...
our non-mover. For the 5th time, the
non-mover.
5-time number 1, Sophie
She's done it.
Tertiuda.
She's
Cruel
done it
Sister.
5 in a row.
5 times.
There lived a lady down the North Sea shore, lay the bend to the bonny brew. 2 daughters were the babe she bore. La, 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 la. As the one grew bright as is the sun, lay the bend to the bonny brew. So coal black grew the elder one. La, 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 la. A knight came riding by the lady's door, lay the band to the bonny brew. He travelled far to be their wooed. La, 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 la. He courted one with gloves and rings, lay the band to the bonny brew, but he loved the other above all things. La, 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 la. Oh, sister, will you go with me? Lay the band to the bonny brew, 2 ships sail on the sea. La 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 la. She took her sister by the hand, laid the band to the bonny brew, and led her down to the North Sea strand. La 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 la. And as they stood on the windy shore, lay the band to the bonny brew, the dark girl threw her sister o'er. La 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 la. Sometimes she sang, sometimes she swung, lay the band to the bonny brew, crying, sister, reach to me your hand. La 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 la. Oh, sister, sister, let me live, lay the band to the bonny brew, and all that's mine I'll surely give. La 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 la. It's your own true love that I'll have and more, lay the band to the bonny brew, but thou shalt never come ashore. La 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 la. And there she floated like a swan, lay the band to the bonny brew, the salt sea bore her body on. La 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 la.
That was Sophie to Schure, Cruel Sister, number 1 for the 5th time in a row, consecutively.
Garden Sessions listeners, they know what they like.
They do.
They do.
The same thing.
Weekend.
For 5 weeks running.
Except for a brief interlude of Alan Hunter.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely. There was a brief interlude. Anyway, moving on.
Dave, it's angle time. What have you got for us?
I've got for you a wonderful choice. It's Planxty and the Blacksmith.
A blacksmith courted me 9 months and better. He fairly won my heart, wrote me a letter. With his hammer in his hand, he looked quite clever. And if I was with my love, I'd live forever. But where is my love gone, with his cheeks like roses, and his good black billycock on, decked around with primroses? I'm afraid the scorching sun will shine and burn his beauty, and if I was with my love, I'd do my duty. Strange news is come to town, strange news is carried, strange news flies up and down, that my love is married. I wish them both much joy, though they can't hear me, and may God reward him well for the slighting of me. Don't you remember when you lay beside me, and you said you'd marry me and not deny me? If I said I'd marry you, it was only for to try you. So bring your witness, love, and I'll not deny you. by none save God Almighty, and may He reward you well for the slighting of me. Her lips grew pale and wan, it made her poor heart to tremble, to think she loved a one, and he proved deceitful.
Another classic ready for dissection, Planxty the Blacksmith, from the classic self-titled album Planxty, featuring the dulcet tones of Andy Irvine, who will be performing at Leith Folk Club tonight, Tuesday the 4th of December. So that should be exciting, and Dave's probably going to be there. But Dave, in the meantime, the Blacksmith, what's your angle?
Well, we're going to have to fly through this one because we are running rapidly out of time. It starts off with a woman, and she's saying that she courted a blacksmith 9 months ago, and she fell completely in love with him. He was writing her letters, and he looked lovely because he was a blacksmith. You know, he
looked lovely
looking.
because he was a blacksmith.
Well, with his hammer, you know, bent over a forge, you know, that kind of thing.
So my default, because he's a blacksmith, he looks lovely.
Yep.
Well, she thought he did.
Okay.
And you know, and she would be happy forever if she could be with him.
Right.
But then he disappears, and she's saying, you know, where's he gone? With his rosy cheeks.
Oh no, where's he gone?
And
he
that
took
kind
his
of
rosy
thing.
cheeks as well.
He's
Hang on.
disappeared.
And his good black billycock.
I
Explain.
hope you wouldn't pick up on the one thing I'm not sure about. I'm pretty sure it's a hat, but I'm going to have to put more research into billycock.
So we think a billycock is a hat.
Pretty sure it's a hat.
Pretty sure it's a hat.
You've heard it here on the Garden Sessions.
Seems
Dave
sensible
is
that it would
pretty
be.
sure that a billycock is a hat. Let us know.
If you think differently, angles at Garden Sessions.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, there's a reason why I think it's a hat, but we haven't got time to go into it.
Okay.
And she's saying, you know, where's he gone? I wish I could see him again. You know, I'd look after him because he's away alone, and I'm worried for him. But then she gets a letter. Some strange news comes to town, and that is that he's getting married. And she
Hold
says,
on.
she
Hold
says,
on.
well,
Were they a thing?
they,
Were they together?
they were together,
Right, and then he's gone and got
disappeared, Now
married.
he's getting married.
He's just got married.
And she says, I wish them both much
No
joy,
real
though they can't hear
good
me.
that can come of it.
But then she also says after that, and may God reward them well for the slighting of me. So I think it's a bit, you know, she's saying,
Reward
I
them
hope
for slighting.
Well, I'm not sure that she actually means a reward. She's
Right.
just saying, kind of smite them because they
Oh,
deserve
mighty God.
it. And then
You
she
can't do
obviously tracks him down because she says to him, "Don't you remember when you lay beside me and you said you'd marry me?" You know.
Hang on. He said that he'd marry her.
Yes.
And now he's gone off and
And
married
married
someone
someone
else. And she's saying God reward them
Well,
for
he
that.
says no. It's not a reward. It's a smiting. The reward is ironic. She's actually saying, "Give him a
Dave.
good kicking."
Dave, what is the moral?
Well, the moral.
I don't think we've heard the
We haven't
story
heard the
yet.
story yet.
Well,
It's about to get worse. I'll
summarise
speed
and
through it.
moralise.
Basically, he says, if I told you I was going to marry you, it was only to get you into bed. I actually ain't going to marry you. So, you know, if you can prove me wrong, if you can prove I said I'd marry you, then fair enough. And she says, well, I haven't got any witnesses.
It says that in the lyrics.
She's probably not the only one.
She says, I haven't got any witnesses apart from God, and unfortunately, he isn't going to turn up to the trial. And she gets a bit upset by this, and she's really quite worried because she fell in love with this guy, and he turned out to be a bit mean.
Yeah,
really.
he is a bit mean. Mean blacksmith.
There's no real excusing what he's done there.
No, not really. No
Can't
matter
really.
how many horseshoes he makes.
Essentially, the moral here is
how rosy his cheeks.
Yeah.
the moral here is
Or how he wears his billycock at a slanty angle.
yeah, that's the one. Assuming it's a hat, that is.
Could not be a hat. Well, whatever.
No,
it is.
we've got it on good authority from
The-
you.
You're pretty sure.
The moral,
Moral.
Of the story is that you can't trust people just because they say they love you.
Oh, that's nice. I thought you were going to say can't trust blacksmiths, but yours was better.
Good. Right. Dave, is that your angle?
It is indeed.
Right, tune time. Before we move on, coming up still though in the show, we are going to be letting you hear your options for the listener's choice, Garden Sessions Listener's Choice 2007.
We are.
To be announced on the New Year special, but there'll be more of that later on. And we have an exclusive recording from this year's Hands Up for Trad Traditional Music Awards. And our letters bag as well. Tune time now though, Clayman and Aaron Jones, McElvogue.
Jones, Claire Mann and Aaron Jones from the album Secret Orders. They have a new album in the pipeline, but as yet we can't confirm a release date for that.
Boo! We can't see down that pipeline.
No, we cannot. But now it's time for the controversy that is the Garden Sessions Letters Bag.
Garden Sessions Letters Bag.
Oh, yes. First letter I've got here is from... This is a bit of a saga, folks. So
really?
We'll begin here.
Settle in.
This one's from Silver. We all know him. In Edinburgh. Something needs to be done about the playing of James Taylor's saccharine, twinkly piano-ridden version of Wild Mountain Time. I demand the playing of Bert Jansch's version next week to remedy this, and would like to call on all listeners to suggest their ultimate version of this classic, but easily slaughtered song. This message was left twice.
This message was left, and... the Garden Sessions had
Official
something to say
responded in kind
about this. Saccharine is not a word which should be associated with James Taylor. His rendition of Wild Mountain Time is one of the best recorded versions we have come across, and the Garden Sessions will defend its airing to the hilt. As for Bert Jansch's version, if there's enough demand, we'll play it, but 2 requests from the same person don't hold much water.
And that's not where it stopped, because the argument on the feedback form raged on with Acoustic Lady Lad's 2 cents, which was, I would like to defend the Garden Sessions' gallant attempts to stave off the bad taste of Silver.
Yes.
I agree, James Taylor's Wild Mountain Time is one of the finest versions I've ever heard. However, Bert Jansch's rendition is equally impressive. I would like to hear it on the next show, so that's 3 votes from 2 people.
And it raged on further. It moved to the States. There's Beth in Walla Walla, Washington. I'd just like to hear a version that does it at a respectable pace. Judy Collins and Joan Baez both go too slowly. Well,
that's that.
There we go.
What about Bert Jansch's version, Beth? Do you like that? What about James Taylor's version?
What about the letter you've got, Frank?
Is James Taylor's version at a respectable pace? I don't know. Sophie from Amsterdam. Correction. The Bert Jansch version has 4 votes, Beth included, but mine was just curiosity. If we're doing requests, though, a song I'd really love to hear again is Tom and Jack's Sacred Grove. I don't care whether it's finished or not. Well, that's how much she wants to hear it. She doesn't care if it's an unfinished song.
It's not finished and it won't be heard until it is finished.
Bit of a tangent, but Mac from Inverness reined it all back to the point by saying that he'd like to hear the Silencers version of Wild Mountain Time. So there you go, debate on the feedback forum.
Wow.
And keep it coming. If you want to get involved, gardensessions.co.uk and click on the little loudspeaker thingy down at the bottom.
Yeah, that's very precise. That's very, very good advice for all you people out there.
Indeed. I have a letter on a different topic now, though. Slightly more serious tone to this one. Ooh. This is from Craig in Dundee. BBC Scotland has been treating its viewers to Scotland's music with Phil Cunningham for the last 4 weeks. Is the Garden Sessions as outraged as I am by the sheer lack of integrity displayed by Cunningham and his cronies?
Oh,
easy there, Craig. That's a little bit harsh.
That's a bit.
I do think that's a bit harsh, actually. Proclaiming Sandy Bells as the home of folk song in Edinburgh when we all know singing isn't allowed there. Okay, maybe slight point.
Yeah.
With not one mention of the Royal Oak, but perhaps more importantly, even although he did a piece on the internet and its overwhelming effect on the traditional scene, he neglected to mention the Garden Sessions in favour of pop act Sandy Tom. Sorry, BBC Scotland, but Queen Margaret Drive has nothing on the bothy.
Oh, that's very flattering, Craig.
First of all, though, we do have to point out the language may be a bit strong, and also, well, we don't have a problem at all with any Sandy, Tom, and although that they're just people that were on the show. The show itself, however, I'm going to stick my oar in here as saying, there's something fundamental about it that really does get a bit on my nerves.
Dave, sorry to stop you, but I have to say I think it's about time that we had something like this on television.
It is.
I wish it was
I
broadcast
agree with
out
you
with Scotland.
100%. It's entirely time we had this
traditional
kind
music
of
doesn't get enough exposure in
which is true,
mainstream media.
Entirely true. The problem I have with the program is
and it's
that
a fantastic series.
Fine, but it proclaims to want to sort of talk about the passion and the stirring feeling that's created by Scottish traditional music and folk music, but there isn't any of that atmosphere.
I've been watching the show, and there are bits that are very good, and I do quite like it, but there are some bits that I could do without. But I guess But I think, as I would agree with Jack,
I'd love to see them in a session in a pub that was roaring with people and music going on instead of sitting with the doors closed.
We'd all have liked to have seen them in the Oak, for example, as Craig said. I think we would.
It would be very important. I mean, I agree to a certain extent with what Dave's saying. I mean, some of it is a bit staged and so on. I mean, that's television. That's just the way it works. But it's, there's been some great stuff in it, likes of Karine Polwart, Chris Silver,
they've been the names,
Dick
definitely.
It's been there's been some stuff that I've thought, not quite sure why that's in there, and it's deviated from the traditional stuff. And yes, the Garden Sessions hasn't been mentioned, and the Royal Oak wasn't there. But on the whole, I think very good documentary, and Phil Cunningham has done the scene proud.
He has actually. Anyway, it's healthy to have debate on the Garden Sessions.
Indeed.
I feel.
Dave wasn't a fan though.
No, he wasn't a fan. We're going to be hearing about that.
Not the biggest.
You'll be tuning in this Saturday though, as ever.
No, if I'm going to be not a fan, I might as well know what I'm talking about. So I will watch. Yes, see what he's getting up to.
The disdain.
Anyway, let's move on. Otherwise, I'll get ranting.
Yes, indeed. It's time to preview what you can vote for in the Listener's Choice 2007.
Yes.
Indeed. Go on the website, gardensession.co.uk, look
very,
on the Listener's
very
Choice
simple.
2007 and choose your favourite song of the year.
Because obviously the New Year's special's coming up at New Year.
Yeah,
and,
racing towards us.
Where we'll be choosing our favourite stuff of the year and so on, but the listeners will also have their choice, the most prestigious of the show.
Mm-hmm.
And you can choose from a wide variety, as Angle says, on the website gardensessions.co.uk. And here's the clips, beginning with Emily Smith, Edward of Morton.
Well, the lady o' the castle to her husband did go, but Edward was sentenced to a life down below, and the torch in his chambers he'd starve till he died. But still Lady Morton's requests he denied.
Kate Rusby, Awkward Annie.
Oh, Annie, let me in. I will fly, I will swim, I will die if you don't come near me. Oh no, don't you say so. You are my dear, my Annie.
One Glass Eye by Ograjanka. Karine Polwart, Better Things.
Is this the best that we can do? Oh, I can think of better things. Can you? Yes, I can think of better things that hands can make and hearts can sing.
Nuala Kennedy, Erin on the Rhine.
Love, dear, love, be true, be only, only mine. When the war is o'er, we'll part no more. But Erin on the Rhine.
Chris Silver, Bra Sailing on the Sea.
And it's broad sailing on the sea when wind and weather's fair. It's better to be in my love's arms. Oh, again that I were there.
Paul McKenna Band, Take My Hand.
So take my hand. Take my hand. Take my hand. Take my hand.
Sirens with Tom Paine's Bones.
I'll dance to Tom Paine's bones. Dance to Tom Paine's bones. Now dance in the oldest boots I own to the rhythm of Tom Paine's bones. Dance to Tom Paine's bones. Dance to Tom Paine's bones. Now dance in the oldest boots I own to the rhythm of Tom Paine's bones.
The Jen Butterworth Band, South Australia.
Shook her up and shook her down, heave away, haul away. Shook her round and round the town. We're bound for South Australia. Haul away your rolling king, heave away, haul away, haul away. You'll hear me sing. We're bound for South Australia.
Back Mark of the Moon, Ship in a Bottle.
No use fighting when the wind's against the tide. Ship your oars, stow your sails. Just enjoy the ride of your life, or throw yourself on the mercy of the sea. Whatever you do, son, don't waste your time like me.
Julie Fowlis, Mo Grugach Dong. Sophie ter Schure, Cruel Sister.
The knight came riding by the lady's door, lay the band to the bonny brew. He travelled far to be their woo.
Frank Burkitt featuring Cassandra Steele, Military Band.
But I'll play along with all of my might, while I think about you crossing off those days and nights. And with every gunshot and blast, I think, will you be flying your flag at half mast?
Martin Boland and Alan Hunter, Jamie Rayburn.
Oh, my name is Jimmy Rayburn. Glasgow I was born. My face an habitation, forced to leave and strong. Hey, my place an habitation, and never gang more. I'd be the bonny hills and dales, the Caledonia.
And the Lucy Pringle Trio, King Shilling.
And the ladies kiss them as they finished the war. They sailed the war boys, they sailed the war boys by the broomy law. Come, laddies, come, hear the cannons roar. Tag the King Shilling and we're off to war.
Extremely difficult choice to make, but I'm sure you'd agree that
was just an
every
enormous
single
list
one of them
of amazing tunes.
Yeah, a pounding list. What a year for folk, and what a year for the garden sessions.
Yeah, and the good thing is that anything that doesn't get voted for by the listeners will probably go on our songs of the year list anyway. So you'll get to hear it all in the end.
I'll make a playlist on my iPod. You know?
Just listen through them. Yes, anyway, we have our exclusive recording, though, in just a moment from this year's Trad Music Awards in Fort William. Garden Sessions, you're listening to. Dave, how can people hear the Garden Sessions?
If you want to hear the Garden Sessions, go to the website gardensessions.co.uk and click on Listen Now or download it, whatever you want.
You can do so much on the Garden Sessions website, actually, Dave. So much that I think Frank should tell us what it is you can do.
Yes, well, you can vote for the song of the year,
obviously,
for one thing.
Yeah.
You can catch up on all the folky news for another thing.
Yeah.
You can check the progress of the download chart.
Yeah.
You can also see glorious pictures of people like us and other folkies around the globe.
I'm not sure I like the fact that I got sidetracked.
You can
in that
also read reviews, and Dave,
yes, you can.
Am I right in thinking that all the lyrics to every angle you've ever done, including the moral and summaries, are also there?
They are indeed.
That's incredible.
But
is
still,
like, it's a fun fair on the web.
Frank, what was that about?
Get over it.
Plus the show notes.
I've been here longer.
The show notes
for all 47 shows that we have done thus
Can you
far.
see the show notes? That's news to me, listeners.
No, it isn't.
No, it isn't. I was just trying to
make it more
add to the
exciting
shock.
for the people
You're
Add
on
to the
every
shock.
page.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's an amazing. Yes, and you can contact the podcast at Garden Sessions. Sorry, how can people hear the Garden Sessions, Dave?
Radio Britfolk, radiobritfolk.co.uk, and 98.8 in the Edinburgh area, Leith FM, where Leith lives.
Thursday night at 10, which we never seem to mention.
Yes,
That's
Thursday
a good
night
point.
at 10.
Thursday night 10,
Thursday night at 10.
just after.
And if you're
Travelling
already
Folk.
listening on Leith FM, you'll know that.
But it's the thrill of it being
Because
live
it'll-
on the radio.
It'll be about 10 to 11.
Yeah. Anyway, moving swiftly on.
Indeed. Our special recording now. This is Kathleen MacInnes performing at the Trad Music Awards this year in Fort William with Gurmilish Morak.
Gurmilish Morak, Gurlach Morak, Gurmilish Morak, Nyan Ewing Ho. Si Morangalia, si Lugama, Chevy Gathal, Morak Yow. Gurmilish Morak, Gurlach Morak, Gurmilish Morak, Nyan Ewing Ho. Gurmilish Morak, Edrein and Gruaga, Achtaram Gruag, Avifuavon. Gurmilish Morak, Gurlach Morak, Gurmilish Morak, Nyan Ewing Ho. Gurmilish Morak, Gurlach Morak, Gurmilish Morak, Nyan Ewing Ho. Mobile Maravish, Edinburgh, Aligan Naldor, Gurmilish Morak, Gurlach Morak, Gurmilish Morak, Nyan Ewing Ho. Si Morangalia, si Lugama, Chevy Gathal, Morak Yow. Gurmilish Morak, Gurlach Morak, Gurmilish Morak, Nyan Ewing Ho. Gurmilish Morak, Gurlach Morak, Gurmilish Morak, Nyan Ewing Ho.
Kathleen MacInnes, Gurmilish Morak from the Traditional Music Awards up in Fort William. That was recorded for us by Anna MacDonald, thanks to her. We did have a longer report, but the outside broadcasting unit that was with her wasn't coming up to the mark. I'm afraid we had some interviews, but never mind, life goes on.
Indeed.
Podcast!
Life doesn't go on for the technical staff, though. We killed
Really?
them.
Steady.
Well, it's a harsh punishment, but you
What
have
did
to
you
get
say
these things
happened to
right.
them?
We killed them.
No, we didn't.
No, we didn't.
Dave,
My
behave
word.
yourself.
The slander.
But that brings us to the end of the 47th episode of the Garden Sessions. You know what that means?
We're near at 50.
Well, after the next show, there'll be 2 days solid of the Garden Sessions.
No way. That's a lot.
A lot of a lifetime.
Yeah, that is,
Yeah.
We have to say the legal staff have suggested that we say you don't want to listen to 2 days of the podcast back to back because it probably wouldn't be good for you. It's a long time to spend listening to our voices.
Yes.
Yes, indeed.
It is. It would be an interesting way to spend 2 days.
But we haven't heard anything from Tom this show.
Appalling.
Tom?
We'll have words.
Wherever you are.
Yeah, you don't want to end up like the technical staff.
Pull your finger out, boy. We want to hear some reports.
Indeed. So, time to finish the show. And we'll see you in 2 weeks' time, and then another week from then for Christmas, and then another week from then for New Year. Am I right, Angles?
Yes, you are.
I am, thank goodness. Right, till next time, for myself, Jack Foster, Frank Burkitt, Dave Angles Gimble, take it easy.
Good night.
Cheerio.
Mm.